The secret of getting ahead is getting started. Age is an issue of mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. If you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything. The difference between the almost right word and the right word is really a large matter. It's the difference between the lightning bug and the lightning. Kindness is the language which the deaf can hear and the blind can see. Good friends, good books, and a sleepy conscience. This is the ideal life. The man who does not read good books has no advantage over the man who cannot read them. It's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. The fear of death follows from the fear of life. A man who lives fully is prepared to die at any time. The secret of getting ahead is doing your work well and being prepared for the next opportunity. 20 years from now you will be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than by the ones you did do. So throw off the bowlines. Sail away from the safe harbor. Catch the trade winds in your sails. Explore. Dream. Discover. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. The best way to cheer yourself up is to try to cheer somebody else up. Keep away from people who try to belittle your ambitions. Small people always do that, but the really great make you believe that you too can become great. The man who does not read good books has no advantage over the man who cannot read them. Don't let yesterday take up too much of today. If you want to be happy, make someone else happy. Continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection. Courage is resistance to fear, mastery of fear, not absence of fear. The two most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. Mark Twain, the famous American author and humorist, had various motivations throughout his life that influenced his writing. One of his main motivations was his desire to entertain and amuse his readers. Twain was known for his witty and humorous style, and he often used satire to critique society and expose its flaws. Another motivation for Twain was his desire to explore and reflect on the human condition. Many of his works, such as The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn and The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, are coming-of-age stories that explore themes of identity, morality, and social inequality. Twain was also motivated by his own personal experiences, which he drew upon in his writing. For example, his own experiences working as a riverboat pilot inspired his novel Life on the Mississippi, while his travels abroad inspired his book The Innocents Abroad. Overall, Twain's motivations were varied and complex, but they all centered around his desire to connect with his readers and reflect on the world around him through his writing. Mark Twain had a passion for teaching and education throughout his life. In fact, he briefly worked as a schoolteacher himself in his younger years, before embarking on his writing career. Here are a few ways that Mark Twain contributed to the field of teaching. Writing books for children, Mark Twain wrote several books for children, including The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, which have become classics in American literature. These books not only entertained young readers, but also taught them valuable lessons about morality, friendship, and growing up. Advocating for education, Twain believed that education was essential for personal growth and social progress. He was a strong advocate for public schools and believed that every child should have access to a good education, regardless of their background or socioeconomic status. Offering advice to teachers, throughout his life, Twain corresponded with teachers and offered them advice on how to engage and motivate their students. He emphasized the importance of making learning fun and interesting, rather than boring and tedious. Supporting educational institutions, Twain was a benefactor to several educational institutions, including the University of California and the Mark Twain Boyhood Home and Museum in Hannibal, Missouri. These institutions continue to educate and inspire students and visitors to this day. Overall, Mark Twain's contributions to teaching and education were significant and continue to be felt today. His books, advice, and support for educational institutions have helped to shape the minds of countless students and teachers over the years. Mark Twain was born on November 30, 1835, in the town of Florida, Missouri, United States. His real name was Samuel Langhorne Clemens. He was the sixth of 7 children of John Marshall Clemens and Jane Lampton Clemens. When he was 4 years old, his family moved to the port town of Hannibal, Missouri, which would later serve as the inspiration for many of his novels, including The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Twain grew up in a relatively poor family, and his father passed away when he was just 11 years old. Despite these challenges, he went on to become one of the most famous and beloved writers in American history. These quotes reflect Twain's belief in the importance of taking action, reading, and learning, surrounding oneself with positive influences, and finding joy in helping others. They also emphasized the value of taking risks and pursuing one's dreams, rather than living a safe and unfulfilled life.